I just understand the way things are. How many stars they got to behead before you figure it out?
Hey everybody, and welcome to the YouTube channel. My name is Cam. This is Zay, and we are here watching Game of Thrones Season 4, Episode 3, Breaker of Chains. I wonder what that means. We'll have to find out. But with that being said, if you guys like what you're watching, leave a like down below. Subscribe and stay tuned for more. Help us reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. It would be greatly appreciated. And you can also hit that bell notification button to be notified the next time we upload a new video. And you can watch our full length version of this and the next 4 episodes on Patreon. Link for that will be in the description. But with that being said, Isaiah, what do you remember for the previous episode?
Bars. So dog was spitting. Man, I waited for it and it happened. Joffrey died. He got poisoned.
And here's a fun fact. One of very few things that Isaiah was aware of going into this show was that Joffrey died. He didn't know who, what, where, when, why. He just knew that he died at some point. Now that that's out of the way, Isaiah is even more in the dark about the future of this series than he was previously.
Yes, I am. So, he died. Cersei blamed it on Tyrion. I have reason to believe it wasn't Tyrion because, Tyrion doesn't like Joffrey, but we had some underlying factors or, things went down after his poisoning that kind of made it suspect for me to believe it was him, with Sansa being approached by Sir Dantos, Doritos, saying you need to, if you want to live, you need to leave. Sansa also picked up the cup and handed it to Tyrion. Now, was this all planned? Who did it? I mean, we didn't see Oberyn at the wedding. I don't know.
Well, he was at the wedding.
Well, but we didn't see him though. That's the thing. He was at the wedding.
We didn't see him up at the table, but we saw him for a second at the wedding. He was there.
So who did it? But point being, he very minimal coverage of him. A lot of coverage of Joffrey and his mistreatment of Tyrion. We also got to see we also got to see Bran. He was warging through Summer, and the other warg child said basically, you need to be careful. You can't keep warging into it. Don't get addicted to it because you can lose your sense of self. You'll forget about Winterfell, who we are, which is an interesting piece to it because I was wondering if there was a punishment for doing that. Like, you're really overtaking an animal's mind or at least vision. Like, what is there repercussions for it? And so there are. It seems that, if you keep doing it over and over again, it can result in you actually kind of digressing into more of like an animal, I guess,
there's definitely a toll.
Right. So I'd be interested to see if we get to see somebody that has gotten that toll, or if, there's a story of someone that's gone through that. That would be more interesting because I know they kind of explained it, but like they didn't really. He just kind of mentioned it.
Jaime is being trained.
Yeah, Jaime's being trained. There's Bronn, right? Okay, just want to make sure. So got trained by Bronn, and
getting better every day.
I know, slowly and surely. It's like I know the names, but it's like the pronunciation. Bran and Bronn, bro. But it's like the way they spell Bronn is like fucking wild. I mentioned to Cam during the last episode. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It was interesting to see how you had Jaime and Cersei kind of getting separate to an extent because, Cersei was saying like, you were gone for too long. You took too long, And now, we knew Jaime and Tyrion weren't on like non-speaking terms, like weren't as aggressive with each other as Cersei and Tyrion. But now Tyrion's helping Jaime. He said, got you.
Now Tyrion's in a pickle.
So does that, but now, like, let's think now, Tyrion provided him someone to train Jaime in solitude, where he wouldn't get exposed for not being able to fight with his other hand. Does Jaime play a role in convincing Cersei to not get Tyrion killed? I don't know. I would like to think so, but can't guarantee it. Yeah. Is there anything else I'm missing, Cam, before I...
Well, there's some stuff here and there, but it's a nice little quick recap as we get into this.
Doesn't need to
scene one.
recap everything.
Everything,
but
yeah.
The main, pretty big events. That
Some
occurred.
stuff, yeah. So with that being said, let's get into it right now.
Oh, with that opening.
You did this! You did this!
We have to leave.
Take him!
If he did do it, I'm glad he did.
Where's his wife? Where's Sansa? Where is she?
No one leaves the capital! No one!
He's pissed.
Where are we going?
Somewhere safe.
Are you insane? Okay, I thought she was gonna stay for a second. I'm like, are you mad? Are you mad?
Up you go, my lady.
A lot of trust into this drunk fool.
Lord Baelish.
Peter. I should get back before someone thinks to look for me. First, you'll want your pay. Wait! And if they found you, how do you think they would punish the girl who murdered the king?
I didn't murder anyone.
Tormented you for years, and you fled the scene of his murder.
Why did you kill him?
Because he was a drunk and a fool, and I don't trust drunk fools.
I mean, he got a point.
He does have a very point.
You're safe with me, sailing home.
Sheesh!
We'll get into your thoughts on that.
That's crazy. Oh, they covered his eyes with
Your brother is
fake
dead.
eyes.
You know what that means?
It means I'll become king.
Yes.
Wisdom is what makes a good king.
Yes. A wise king knows what he knows and what he doesn't. Wise young king listens to his counselors and heeds their advice. Wisest kings continue to listen to them long afterwards. Your brother was not a wise king. He was not a good king. If he... Now, as the king, you will have to marry. Do you understand why?
Tywin is a smart man.
Bro, when he said you have the temperament for it, I was like, that's a direct shot. Right, Joffrey?
It was Tyrion.
It was not.
He killed him.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
He told me he would. The day will come when you think you are safe and happy, and your joy will turn to ashes in your mouth. That's what he said to me.
He did say that.
He did.
Avenge him. Avenge our son.
Dun 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 dun. Dun. Avengers theme. No.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I got it. Yeah. 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 That was the closest he got to banging her in weeks, months, maybe now.
You're a hateful woman. Why have the gods made me love a hateful woman?
On the... So Jamie's more of a piece of shit than I thought.
That's a pretty shitty thing to do.
Yeah. Assault your sister at the grave of your son? Yeah, I'd agree. It's a pretty shitty thing to do.
Did you fight at the Twins?
All that a fight? Slaughtering livestock, more like.
Those raiders wouldn't stand a chance against you. He was a man to help with the farm work. And if any thieves came looking for easy pickings, one look at you, I bet they'd run the other way.
Does he
What
do
you
it?
pay?
Okay, he does it.
Fair wages for fair work?
Fair wages for fair work.
Interesting.
What did you do?
Get your horse saddled.
You told me you weren't a thief.
And they'll both be dead come winter.
You don't know that.
I do know it. He can't protect himself. They'll both be dead come winter. Dead men don't need silver.
Oy, oy, oy.
Shit! In the Seven Kingdoms.
Plenty worse than me. I just understand the way things are. How many stars they got to behead before you figure it out?
Whew.
An awful way to die.
Which way is that?
Are you interrogating me, Lord Tywin? The king was poisoned.
I hear you studied poisons at the Citadel.
I did.
Your hatred for my family is rather well known. You arrive at the capital an expert in poisoning. Some days later, my grandson dies of poisoning.
Not a good look.
Right.
You spoke with Tyrion in this very brothel on the day that you arrived.
I think we conspired together.
What did you discuss?
The death of my sister.
For which you blame me.
She was raped and murdered by the Mountain. The Mountain follows your orders.
Men at war commit all kinds of crimes without their superiors' knowledge.
So you deny involvement in Elia's murder?
Categorically. There will be a trial for my son. 3 judges will render a verdict. I would like you to be the 3rd. I will also invite you to sit on the small council to serve as one of the new king's principal advisors.
Oh, what is he doing that?
Okay.
I never realized you had such respect for Dorne, Lord Tywin.
We are not the 7 kingdoms until Dorne returns to the fold. Targaryen girl has 3 dragons. Only the Dornish managed to resist Aegon Targaryen and his dragons.
You're saying you need us.
We need each other.
Tywin's seriously thinking about Dany now.
You're to stand trial in a fortnight.
Oh, I can call my own witnesses. Very well, my wife, Sansa.
No one's seen her since the wedding.
Not a good look for Sansa.
Think she...
No one had more cause to kill Jon.
Oh, I don't want to lose one of my other favorite characters.
I will not have you dying on my behalf. Claude! This is farewell.
Damn.
Farewell.
That's so nice of Tyrion, though. Like, he's like...
There has never lived a more loyal squire.
Damn.
No one boils a potato better than your mum. She got big.
I'm going to eat them.
Oh.
I'm going to eat your dead mama. And I'm going to go tell the crows at Castle Black.
Imagine being told your parents are gonna get eaten.
Mance Raider is coming. If the wildlings breach the wall, they'll roll over everything and everyone for 1,000 miles before they reach an army that can stop them.
We need to defend the wall. That is our job.
That's one.
Thought you'd have blue eyes by now.
They made it back.
The mutineers stayed.
They're not going anywhere. They've got Craster's food and his wives.
But as soon as he gets his hands on them, he will. And even if every one of us kills 100 wildlings, there's still not a thing we can do to stop them.
There's too
That
many.
guy in the back. Yeah.
There's too many. I wonder where she keeps the dragons. Like in this, like she must just like kind of keep them low key. Cause like they're not like surrounding her or anything.
Not too easy to keep low key.
But if you have them like walking or like flying low or flying high and out of the way,
Against them.
Right.
send a dragon as your champion. How fucked would that be? Dracarys. Just
I've won more single combats than any man alive.
Which is why you must remain by my side.
I've been by your side longer than anyone, Khaleesi.
who? Jorah, maybe?
You're my most trusted advisor, my most valued general, and my dearest friend. I will not gamble with your life.
How about this fucking rock? What do you want?
Yeah, what the fuck do you want?
I mean, I don't like the horse dying, but he had to do what he had to do, and that was a smart ass move.
Look how mad they are. Why are you mad? You lost the bat. What are you mad about? Imagine firing arrows because you're mad that your champion lost. That's fucked up, yo. You shouldn't have beat him. It's like,
Potistan. Asterprot dohe trossa, Rinyo ingati orzi. Diary. Yonkai tohe trossa, Sirinyo ingati orzi. Diary.
Damn.
Not mastan. Jerikle nunti sixondao.
Yo, they look mad, bro.
Mo back dot isa. Jerikle nuntis, Jemorinya laudisi. Naijan.
All the collars.
Collars, yeah. He's like, listen, bro. I like nah, I fuck with you though, like heavy, bro. Like you're a goat, bro. That's how they ended it. Oh my god, bro.
That was Game of Thrones season 4, episode 3, The Breaker of Chains, and Isaiah's camera is just wickedly blurry right now. We're gonna let that pass real quick before we get to the post-episode discussion. But if you like what you guys are watching, leave a like down below. Subscribe to stay tuned for more. It would be greatly appreciated. And you can also check out our full-length reaction to this and to the next 4 episodes on our Patreon. The link for that will be in the description. So, all right. So, Zay, your camera is much better now. And again, apologies, you guys, for any of those moments. We are now currently looking into solutions because you guys don't deserve that. We don't deserve that. And, you know, we're in a bit of a pickle financially when it comes to getting better Wi-Fi. But we think there's might be something going on with the service we're using. So we are looking at better solutions. So, you know, apologies for that. Hopefully we can fix that by the time we get into the next Game of Thrones episodes. But please bear with us. It means a lot to have your support here. But with that being said, Zay, what are your thoughts on this episode?
It was a cool episode. Wasn't one of my favorites. By no means was it bad. It just wasn't one of my like favorites. It was definitely dope. Daenerys is at Marine, and that was like a big thing for me. It was like waiting to see like is she gonna like when she arrives to Marine, how's she gonna approach it? Very interesting approach to it, I'll say the least. But we'll get more into that after towards the later part of the Q&A. So
all right, let's get straight into it. Sansa gets smuggled out of King's Landing, and Peter Baelish was behind it. Do you think that he is another contender for who murdered Joffrey, or do you not think he's part of that picture? And what do you think his plans are now that he's got Sansa and where they might be going?
Everyone in King's Landings are liars, and I would not be surprised if he was behind it. And we already knew that Baelish had ears throughout King's Landing. He already had people within there, clearly by Sir Dantos, who literally gave a sob story about this necklace that it's like it's his mother's last. It's not anything. Baelish was like, I told him to give you. I had this made a few days ago. I told him to give this to you. It's like every time I get comfortable with like what's going on inside of King's Landing and stuff, they make me uncomfortable. So it's like that happened. I'm like, I don't know who I can trust now. I don't like, you know what I'm saying? I don't even trust Podrick at this point. Cause I'm like, I don't know what like he could be lying too. Like, I have no idea. I think that I think he could definitely be a someone that might have been behind the assassination. I don't know if he directed it out of like his initiative, like he wanted it to happen, but maybe with talks of someone that could provide him a better position within King's Landing, possibly, or something like that, or maybe to disrupt King's Landing to allow for someone else to take over. I'm not sure, but I think that he could possibly definitely have a hand in it. I mean, for sure. It's odd timing for him to have a ship here and all this stuff. It's like, we thought you left. Like left.
It's possible.
Or is it him with a thing with Sansa because he wanted Sansa to leave with him? If Sansa left with him, would they have come back to King's Landing to get that assassination done? I don't know, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Next on the list, we have Tywin, who is talking to Joffrey's little brother, and his name is Tommen. and he is saying, "Hey, listen, what makes a good king? Is it because they're just? Is it because they're holy? Like, what is it? Because I've given," and he gives examples of why maybe just and holy and all these things don't work out, but wisdom works out. And how do you get that wisdom? Listen to me. Listen to us. That's pretty
Now,
much what he's
yeah,
saying.
that's a very clear. There's pretty clear manipulation type of thing. Like he's young, very, and even I can't remember who said it, but someone said like, you know, maybe Tywin did because it's Joffrey. What's the name? I'm sorry. What's the second one's name? The second son.
Common.
Tommen, gentle Tommen, or however they reference him, is easier to control and talk to. He is. I mean, you gave him every reason. What do you think about this part? And he even said, he prefaced it with saying, you have a better temperament than the last king. You have a better temperament to be a king. Basically saying, Joffrey didn't have the right temperament. Oh, this person was just. Yes, you're right. But here's this issue, da, da, da. But wisdom you get from your counsel. And it kind of feels like Tywin is someone that was almost mad that they were never king because they felt they could have been a good king. So they want to get as close to it as possible. And that is the next best possibility for him is if Tommen takes over, but you're counseling him and Tommen listens to everything you say, you're basically a king. You really are.
And we've heard Tywin say, if you think the king is the most powerful man in Westeros, then you're a bloody fool.
Right.
So there's a lot of dynamics there. We have Jaime. I guess some people may debate this, but it's pretty clear to me that he raped Cersei by Joffrey's.
She kept saying no throughout the whole thing.
Right.
No means no, guys. And that was like pretty clear. It seemed like that. If even she gave in, it seemed like the last thing she wanted to do was have sex near her son's grave.
Yeah, I would consider that not consenting.
Yeah, thus rape.
What are your thoughts? I mean, we started to get to see Jaime in a better light going forward, and now we have this regression happening, I guess you could say. What are your thoughts on that? How do you feel about Jaime now going forward, and how do you think that might affect his relationship with Cersei?
Here's where it's interesting is that I think that Cersei and Jaime had a mutual love for each other. However, Cersei's love seems to be she loves him but is willing to be detached, whereas Jaime is almost is like an infatuated with her. Because if you don't remember, I mean, I obviously remember the previous episode or the episode before it, she said basically, you took too long. He wanted to get it on, get funky. And she was like, no. Now we have a situation where he tells everyone to leave, locks the doors. No one's going to disturb you because the mother of the dead son, King, is in there. And he takes full advantage. Literally rips her gown. So it seems like a toxic relationship is forming where Jaime is far more infatuated with Cersei than Cersei might have been with Jaime. Now, she might still have feelings for Jaime, but he's clearly willing to.
Well, I'm curious about what your perspective is on Jaime now. Do you think he's gone? Because I know when you were talking about him before, he was like number 3 on your most hated because he's like working his way off the list. Does this affect your
Not that I necessarily hate him, but like I won't say he moved. He's still on what I still don't really like him. But
does this affect
his ranking? It kind of does, but like at the same time, part of me has always known like he's willing to do what he needs to do. If he doesn't owe a debt, like he's willing to do whatever he needs to do to get where he wants to be. And so to me, it wasn't like. It was shocking because I was like, damn, like next to your son's grave. So I guess it shows like the extremeness of what he's willing to do. But it was almost like, well, yeah, it's Jaime. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
expected of him.
It's not, yeah. So it's like it wasn't as shocking as I feel like it would be for like a different character. But yeah, I'm still not a huge fan of him. That was just a nuts scene. I couldn't believe that you would even think to try to do something like that.
Arya and the Hound visited a local or like a family, father and daughter, and and they helped them stay in. And the Hound said they're not going to last, so he basically beat up the father and took their silver, and that got Arya really pissed off. So, what are your thoughts on that? You know, how do you think that might affect their relationship? And do you think that
just where we're kind of like where you could try to see like a parallel between them, like the cold killer, that's where they start to show the separation, right? Because Arya still has morals. Like, she was grateful for them taking them in, feeding them. She was like, even like, you know, the Hound basically said, you know, fair work for fair wage, right? Like, I'll help you around this farm. Next thing Arya hears is the Hound knocking this dude out and taking his money. She's like, yo, what? Like what's wrong with you? But the Hound she said, you're the worst shit, you know, in Westeros. And he said, there's far worse than me. So I'm curious, is Arya going to adapt that attitude? Because she still was going with him, and she's still with him, as we could assume. She might adapt that attitude that, like, well, he's bad, but there's worse. And that can be a dangerous slope because, you know, where do you cut it off? Like, what's worse than that? I mean, you basically just bullied a freaking innocent man, took his money, and just said, he wouldn't survive anyway. It's like, you don't know that. you don't know that for sure. And how does that affect her morals? Does she end up trying to, you know, go against the Hound, separate from the Hound because she doesn't agree with his morals? He's willing to be a lone ranger, but her being a lone ranger is a lot different. She's a girl, young, smaller. So
yeah, that's a interesting dynamic happening there. We have, you know, not to go into everything, we had that little situation with Sam and Gilly. Not much really to talk about there, other than kind of like a connection forming, but also something not going good because he's leaving her at that area. Do you have any words on that, or do you want to just move on to the?
Just good intentions by him. Unfortunate circumstances. And Gilly not really. I mean, I get it. She's just not being completely understanding, but I can't expect her to get the grasp of what he's trying to get to. You know, again, 100 men, 1 woman. You know,
right?
Like savages, rapers. You know, robbers, this, that, and the other thing. It's like it's just not safe for you. Doesn't seem like Mole City was really that much safe for her, but safer, I would say, in my opinion. Most likely, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Tyrion's trial. Tywin came up to Oberyn and said, I want you to be the 3rd judge. And this kind of shocked Tyrion, but then he realized, yeah, I guess that makes sense. My father would take advantage of a family disaster. And, you know, Podrick comes in and says a mystery man came up to Podrick and asked him to testify against Tyrion. I'm curious what your thoughts about that whole situation is going to go. Do you think Tyrion is going to find a way to weasel out of it? Do you think this is the end of Tyrion? What are your thoughts about that whole situation?
I would like to see him get out of it, but a lot is against him right now. A lot is against him, and, you know, Tywin wants Oberyn to be the 3rd judge, basically, right? But
yeah,
we don't get into details about why he wants him to be. More just says, like, I want you to be the 3rd judge.
Well, you know, we did get into the idea that he's trying to make an alliance with the Martells because of the impending doom that he sees coming from multiple angles.
But Oberyn has really only had interactions with Tyrion, and they weren't really that negative. You know, so my point being that, yeah, Tywin, I just feel like if Tywin was looking for someone to really indict Tyrion, he would find someone a little bit better than Oberyn, because like Oberyn's like, that's like a wild card, dude. That's like me being like, hey, you know what? I want to get this kid, I want to get this person, you know, indicted. I pick my best friend, my other friend, but then I just go on the street and pick, you know, this one other person that happened to be in the school. It's like, well, they don't know. They might not like Oberyn, and it's like, and you're picking someone that Oberyn talked to. And again, their dynamic wasn't really negative. It wasn't positive by any means necessarily, but Tyrion's been the most, like, you know, they even said, like, I thought we weren't gonna, like, you know, they would talk to each other, and Oberyn said, like, I thought, like, let's not tell lies, basically, let's speak the truth. And then Tyrion countered it with that whole conversation. So they're kind of on like a even playing field. I'm interested to see how this trial goes down. I want to say that maybe Tyrion makes it out alive. My only thing is that they want justice. So does someone else get brought in? And that could create something interesting. If they bring in somebody else that gets killed, that could be, I can't think of like a main character, but they might bring in another character and it's like, oh shit, like they're going to kill this person instead. If someone else gets brought in, and if Tyrion either has more information on it, or even if he doesn't, can you live with knowing like that person got killed? They might not even have done it, you know?
Yeah, we'll have to see. John is kind of warning everybody at the wall, hey, listen, if they find out, if they get to those men at Craster's Keep and they find out that we don't have 1,000 men at Castle Black alone, we could each take down 100 wildlings.
And we still lose.
And we're still not, we're not gonna
No
we're not
way,
gonna
even
win.
close.
So what's your perspective on that? Do you think that they're finally going to take him seriously, or do you still think he's in a little bit of a pickle there?
I said it last reaction. I think that they're going to take him seriously, and I think that they're going to attempt to try to call on to maybe other people, other like, you know.
We also have that boy
fans.
coming from that village to warn the Night's Watch about the attack on his village. So
yeah, so it's like I would imagine they gotta take him seriously at this point. Here's like my thing is that like John didn't just say like, oh, there's wildlings coming. He gave you names, he gave you amounts, he gave you this clan, this clan, this clan. They're all linked. That's an elaborate lie if it's a lie. You know what I'm saying? Like pretty thought out, and it's like here's the thing, for what? You're gonna lie about
no, did that kid make it to the Night's Watch or no? Or did we not see that yet?
I think he did make it.
Okay.
Yes. When Tormund was like, I'll eat your dad, I'll eat your mother, da da da.
Oh, that wasn't Tormund. That was one of the Thens.
Oh, Tormund's not one of the Thens?
Tormund is the orange-haired wildling.
Then who's the other one with the carves in his face?
That's a Then.
He has a name. I'm almost positive already.
I don't remember what
well,
his name was.
He said he went up to the kid and said, I'll eat your mother, I'll eat your father. Go tell the Night's Watch, the crows at Castle Black. And so he did make it. He got there and he told them. So you're under the clock now because he made it. Now we don't know the timeline of how long it took him to make it, but like I imagine it's not that long. And you're again assuming you're at that crazy of a disadvantage. Like you need to either get people there, like other men from other lands to help you, or you need to get some strategy to hold it off, to get crows and ravens out to say like, yo, wildlings are going to take the wall. That needs to be, because that needs to be out. That needs to just get out there. If he really does have 100,000 men, imagine just being in, imagine you're just in King's Landing and just 100,000 wildlings are just like all of a sudden just at your wall. You're like, whoa, like scramble, get everybody here. Like, people like to form armies.
But that's one of the reasons why Tywin was recruiting Oberyn's help, because you never know who's coming at them. But with that being said, lastly, we have Dany. Well, I guess Tywin kind of knows who's coming at him, but that's, you know what I mean. But we have Dany, who's at Marine finally. Dario takes care of their champion pretty simply and easily, and then she launches a bunch of slings, or she slings a bunch of the collars at the temples at the city, and all the slaves see this. What are your thoughts about what's going to happen now? She made a pretty darn convincing speech, but do you think that the slaves will just get up and revolt now, or do you think that it's going to be a little bit harder to take care of this city? Well, what's your perspective going forward?
I think she took a very, very smart approach. I think that she took a very, very smart approach. So the first, she got the Unsullied by actually making a trade, getting in the city, and then basically freeing them, saying your freedom's yours, da-da-da, showing that she speaks their language and everything. Then she got to the Yunkai. The Yunkai, she had them kind of take out the military. They came out, they accepted her. By now, you could assume that between the Yunkai and Astapor, right? Because that was the first city, was Astapor, the Unsullied. You could assume that, she didn't take out someone might have escaped that might have tried to give information out, because even at Yunkai, they said we have powerful allies that will, you know, they would love to kill you. And we can't confirm or deny, from what I know, that Yunkai knew about Astapor already getting taken. And they could assume that Marine might not have gotten taken.
Well, they saw a bunch of Unsullied.
They did see a bunch. They did see a bunch. It's still, but like, you know, leaving up in the air, even if they were like, you know, they said we have allies that would love to kill you. Even if they were gambling to say allies, I meant ally, Marine, which is a big size city, they could have sent somebody out to Marine to talk about her. Cause she even said, I know what, you know, your masters have told me about, or have told you about me, about her, you know, whatever, lies basically. So what better way to convince people that we've been freeing them than, I mean, sending their shackles, I mean, their collars, but shackles in a sense, at them. And you saw the one dude's face. He saw it. He's like, these are collars of like Astapor and Yunkai. Like like she really did free these people.
Right.
At least to what his extent of knowledge is. And he even looked at his master. His master was like, like, oh, shit. Like, listen, dog, I'll give you whatever you want. So I think it was very smart, because at the very least, what she just did is cause internal turmoil between slaves and masters. And 9 times out of 10, slaves outnumber the masters. And if you can get the slaves to decide to turn on the masters, there's not much they can do, you know, like there's only so much, even if they have like a military, like, you know, they had how many freaking Yunkai was like 100,000 Yunkai slaves or something crazy. So it was like
200,000, I think.
200,000. So let's say, like, you know, even if they had like, you know, even if they had half of that as military personnel, like actually like military, that's 2 to 1 if they all turn. So, you know what I'm saying? Like it's law of numbers kind of at that point. I think that it was very smart. And Breaker of Chains is a very fitting title, because she is a breaker of chains. And I think that portrays more to her. I think there's loose, you know, iterations to the other characters as well. But I'm excited to see what happens in the next episode.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But with that being said, again, if you guys liked what you're watching, leave a like down below. Subscribe to stay tuned for more. You get that bell notification, be notified the next time we upload a new video. If you want to watch our fun thing, forget that this is the next 4 episodes. You can check it out on Patreon. Also, Zay, I know you have a Twitch.
Yes, I do. If you want to subscribe to my Twitch, it will be down in the description below. I stream Sunday through Friday. Cameron and I usually are on together Tuesday and Friday. Stay tuned for some parallel streams as well, where we're on a game together, because it's easy with some of the playthroughs, but not as much with the others. I also have a YouTube where I do playthroughs as well. Come in, talk, hop in the chat, and no spoilers. With that being said as well, though, Cam, I know you have a Twitch.
Yep, just your average Cam. I'm playing games like Elden Ring. If you're interested, check it out. Link is in the description. But with that being said, we won't keep you guys here any longer. We'll see you guys in the next one, and peace.
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 He did too quick. Peace.
I did it last. Peace.
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 And peace.
All right, you ready?